Okay, we should be recording. Yes. So I have finished writing the review. I may edit it, because I haven't submitted yet. I only just finished writing the conclusion. Oh, we can skip this. Since that would have been at the end of the previous part, you can just go back and look. I will add, I did briefly pull up the game, and I didn't bother recording because I just wanted to check one thing, which is when I was going through videos, I noticed something. Well, here, I'll just show you. You can actually activate slow-mo while standing still. You have to hit V. When looking through videos for the tutorial, I saw that there, and it's like, oh! I wish I'd known that. So one thing I want to talk about before getting into this. An interesting conundrum that I think I know what my answer is, but I still think it's worth discussing. As I said, I wrote the review based on the 4 hours or so that I put into the game already. And this is something I said I would do because, also for context, except for the conclusion, I literally wrote the entire review just yesterday. And the day before that is when I did the 4 hours, okay? If I had continued playing yesterday, and so I had to start writing the review today, it's a Monday, because of my work schedule, it may have been Friday by the time I would have finished it. So I would have been moving further away from actually finishing the review. Well, I would have been working on the review, moving further and further away from the gameplay. So there is also, it's like legitimately my scheduling, and I didn't feel that the game was improving. That's the thing I want to talk about. I do feel that this legitimately was the best use of my time for this review. I just, to help explain that in case somebody doesn't really understand. And I try to also put that somewhat in the game. I'm a little more comfortable talking about that stuff in the playthrough videos, though, when I'm giving commentary, but still, I just wanted to, add that on top. Just legitimately, it would have actually probably made the writing of the review harder and not as good if I had kept playing yesterday. And also, as I said, the game wasn't connecting with me, and I tried to explain in the review. But this is where it's, I think, is worth talking about. An idea worth talking about.
Ancient Egypt at the bottom of the world, and I don't particularly care. Anything is better than being inside that box.
I know, it's like I want to do something, but I do need to talk about this. So something I've talked about previously, but this is the first time I'm actually, putting into the test, you could say, is for a lot of games, you could theoretically write a review for a game after 1 or 2 hours. It depends on the game. But for many games, in 1 to 2 hours, you will have experienced enough of it that you can write a competent review. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. For a lot of games, because in that amount of time, every gameplay mechanic has been introduced. The story should have been introduced well enough that you know whether or not you're going to care about it. And obviously, you will know the graphics. So it's like you can write a competent review. It's not a complete review, but it would be a competent review in that amount of time. Because it's also, in my opinion, if you have a poor game, a weak game, and I'm not saying this is, by the way. I actually don't think it is. I can still recommend it. I think it has weaknesses, but I'm still comfortable recommending it. I don't think you can have a poor game, so a game I would fail to recommend, rise to the level of getting a recommendation just by continuing to put time into it. That if you put the 1 2 hours in, and it's say, yeah, I don't think I could really recommend this game. It's not bad, but I can't recommend it. I don't think continuing to play it should really get you there. Because it's also if it's weak at the start, you're already going to lose people. So, I mean, do you really, it's not like, with a television show where it's like, no, you just get through the first season and go to the second season. Because you could also just say, skip the first season, watch the second season. You could do something, you can't skip in a game. That's not really an option. And it's also to me, it's like, well, yeah, the first season, though, you're saying is bad using that, but it is you can just skip forward. That's not an option here. So it's like you can't, I don't think that you can have a game that's poor and have it get better just because, suddenly it got good. It's like, if anything, I actually find that as a detriment to the game. Because at that point, it's like, okay, why wasn't it good to begin with? Why were they failing to achieve that quality that they could get later on? That I would have an issue with, and I don't think that will ever happen. You can, however, have a game, and there are some games that this has happened, where it'll go and then just suddenly start falling apart, especially with the story. I'm just trying to think, what's a In a way, Chia was like that. Where as I kept going in the game, it's like it made less and less sense. But it is, like, you know, basically, if an opinion's going to change by continued playing, I feel it's always going to go negative. I don't think this will, to be honest. The issue that I have with the game, the pacing and such, I don't think is... Okay. Oh, I should also mention, and actually, I can't see it here, and I forgot to look in the main menu. There was an update to the game that also arrived. So I'm also kind of glad I finished writing the review already, because different versions, don't know what that'll mean. Okay, I may pick a bad time to... Well, no, I take that back. I could not have picked a bad time to stop playing, and I will tell you why. Because origin story, so it's like, oh, well, this is going to answer some of your questions in the game. Okay, it doesn't say it. This is chapter 26. If I assume that it's a chapter per level, and I saw somewhere it's 45 levels, I'm more than halfway through the damn game. Now we're getting the origin story? I'm sorry, this just reinforces the point I make in the review. The pacing is not good. It really isn't that good. Now, I like James Savage, don't get me wrong, I like his character, I really do. But, I mean, if now we're gonna get, I assume it's Dracula's origin story, and that it's, hello, and that it is, Daedra? Dredger? I don't quite remember, but I do remember seeing the name mentioned in a trailer for it.
I want to live.
And was hey, this is, you know, some sort of dark Egyptian god that has a connection to Dracula. And it's like the
hero.
And it's very obviously what is set up here. So it's like, okay, in theory, we're gonna get, hey, this is how she became a vampire. And it's like, great. At this point, is it especially relevant? I mean, you could be doing... this stuff could have been done faster. Okay. I mean, it's just the pacing...
I wanna live!
Yeah.
Yeah, this is real. Lights representing trapped souls. That's helpful.
Hey, just realized we actually have stairs. Well, ramps technically, but I think this is the first time we've actually had any real, well, it's not real, actually, any verticality to the levels. It actually isn't that real, though. So we got some more ammo here. Repeater rounds. That's right, no. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay.
Found ammo.
I have a lot more handgun rounds, so work on that. I'm not sure if there were any Egyptian pyramids with this specific design, with the cutouts there. Huh. I know a little bit of Egyptian pyramid design. Just, I remember some of the stuff, and it's something that does stick with me because of just some absurdities for myths that people have for concerning the pyramids, but, so it's like I remember things that I learned because it's like, yeah, you're wrong. Oh, you know, I just realized I totally forgot to mention that. I don't necessarily care. Oh, hello. So funny thing is, I actually even stated in in the review that the angels, basically, so long as you can spot them, they're not a threat. They're so easy to hit. I did not see those two. Like, that's how they got me. I just suddenly was getting hit by them. I mean, it's just... This is also part of what I was talking about in the review, which, man, actually having already written some of the review, it's kind of fun to just talk about that. I'm going back to try to find some health like that.
You need this.
Like one of the things I talked about with the enemies is that legitimately it's the original mummies. Oh, I can break this. It's the original mummies because of how they can swarm. It's the werewolves because they're leaping, and it's the damned brides. Like, that's how I kept referring to them because I think that's what they basically are. I don't know if there's a different name for them, but his analysis of them, that's what they would be called. But anyway, they're the three most lethal in my opinion, because if you don't notice the werewolves, their jumping at you can actually be quite a problem. Oh, I completely forgot about this asshole. There he is. Why did I do that? Okay. Ooh. I will, but let me, like, do this first.
Suck that, vampires.
Room service? Worth a shot.
Anyway, but it's like, you know, those initial three are the most lethal. The knights, I hate them because of just, it's like, yeah, they're just, like, doesn't that break? Because it's like, it's kind of like this. We've been trained. Hey, these are things that can break open, but no, they're not. The knights are, hey, these are things that come alive and try to kill you, except they don't. So it's like, yeah, they're kind of pointless, and you can't just hit them with a shotgun. And that works quite effectively, in fact. I have a feeling that they're just gonna come busting through once I get him up. Yep. Interesting. It does seem that they take more damage, unless they change the balancing, I guess. But it does seem like that was more damage just because I was in slow-mo. But anyway, yeah, it's just the grunt mobs are kind of the most intimidating to me, because the knights are, as I was saying, you know, whatever, they're there, but they never do. So often they don't do anything. The angels are, if you see them, that you kill them first. So yeah, Puppet Guy's annoying, but so what happened there was I hit right mouse button thinking that'll slow down. Oh wait, no, that's not the button. V is. Oh. Yeah, see, these things, not true, I'm just not being that careful. Wait, what? Is this the right way that I'm going? It must be.
Hey, don't mind the
Please
giant
don't
sarcophagus,
hurt me.
that's
Thank
normal.
God.
You need this.
But yeah, I mean, it's like getting into a small area. Okay. with the werewolves is kind of threatening.
Greeks or the American pioneers or indigenous populations around the world, they all talk about it. These forces beyond.
Where did you get that term?
It's the closest thing I can pull together from all the translations I've seen. There's no universal name for them, right? Just the concept. Shadows beyond the skin of the world. And they hate you.
Have you heard anything about them making deals?
Sure. It's like the Fae. But you're making a deal with something that hates you, right? There have to be consequences.
Why do you think someone would do that?
Probably because it's the only deal they can make. Or they want something they shouldn't have.
Okay. I mean, it's like, I'm sorry. Just as far as the pacing of the story, we could have had something like that a while ago. We really could have. And in a way, we already did. I mean, it's, back in her castle, when having the memory of
Nice ammo.
of some of it, like her actually making the bargain, actually talking with him. It was kind of clear she wasn't the keenest on it initially. Took it,
Don't hurt me.
regretted it, and then like accepted it. So I mean, it's
Me.
I mean, the specifying that yes, it was in fact with the forces beyond that hate humanity. It's like, yeah, but we kind of already knew that. Now that to be clear, I'm not going to go back and edit the review for that. I'm really not. My general statements on the pacing not being that good are, I think, fine as it is. Oh, come on. I hit that thing multiple times. It should have already been dead. There. Yeah, I don't... That was just weird. It should legitimately have already been dead. Okay. See? It's another one. There. See what kind of a threat that is? Like, that legitimately is a threat. If I hadn't been up on that thing so it missed a jump, it would have hit me and been a problem. But instead, my positioning protected me. Which is also part of the reason why I like when they're not so claustrophobic. And even this technically isn't claustrophobic because I've got the ability to go up as I have it. Nope. Okay.
Great.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Having completed the necessary steps, I am denied entrance to paradise. Something poetic in there. Through it hope it's not an omen. And just like that, they're back inside the box.
and just like that, still no boss fight. It's like, I also mentioned that. It's like, we really could have had one by now. That's part of the gameplay isn't escalating.
You really don't want me poking around in here. Hell. You need to stay present. I want you to feel everything.
I kind of like that. I want to see how that goes, but I do kind of like how it is that kind of malevolence. But see, oh, look at this. Look. Hey. See, nothing. Now, true. Maybe they awaken when I interact with him, but still, this is.
I want to live. So there.
Nothing. How are they threats? Okay, I mean, it's...
This is interesting. The void isn't just pulling from creatures that exist, it's using conceptual language. Symbols Arthurian legend. Rotting king, mourning, a departed queen. In other words, the void can tell whatever story it wants.
Okay. But, I mean, it's just... Okay. What? The knights are themselves made illegitimate by the game. How can they be considered a real threat?
Lord of the Vampires. What is that?
Are going to be?
It means I fought for a position, and I won it.
Did you have a crown?
I guess she lost her power, so maybe in the past.
It was a bit more spiritual than that. Somehow I knew where my people were. All of them. All of the time. If one of them happened to see me, they knew exactly who I was. Without my having to say a word.
Okay.
Couldn't hold more if I tried.
No.
Okay. I will grant some aspects of Dracula's character I'm not as connected to as his. And it's like, I get, like, the whole she liked being known. Okay, I get that. It's also very human, so I'm not sure how much that needs to be stated. Yeah. This seems like a terrible idea. I guess I have to do it. Oh, this is bad. But yeah, I consider the brides the most threatening of these, because if I don't know where they're coming from, it's very hard to protect myself. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm not. Safe over here. There it is. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. That was for her jumping somewhere I could very easily see and shoot. Okay. Okay, and I'm full up on that ammo, so I might as well start using it. Oh wait, no I'm not. I am close. That's kind of interesting. I mean, that seems to imply there is a walkway there. Oh, hello. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. True, the eyes are glowing. So maybe... Yep, okay. But this guy is not a threat. None of the others have been a threat. And I don't count it as a, oh, but it's just, you know, trying to, like, psych you out, like, oh, is this one dangerous? Is this one dangerous? No. No. Because it's so uncommon, and they're also, once you realize that, I mean, it's like, you can just avoid all of them. And even if they do start walking towards you, like that one will, the shotgun takes care of it, so... And you can do that before they really even get a chance. So, I mean, no, I don't... They needed to be a more consistent threat. One where it's like, earlier, how do I walk by these things? How do I get by these things without them coming alive and trying to kill me? It's like, that would have been interesting. That would have been engaging for the enemy. Instead, it's just maybe 10% of the time, if that, they're actual threats. That's not good enough to me. I'm sorry if you think that should be, but to me, it's not.
I want to go home.
And so that aspect of my criticism of the gameplay shall not change. Another angel. Goodbye. How'd that not die? There we go. Oh, hello. Goodbye. There. I don't know what more there might be. That's why I'm continuing to move around. I'm not... I think that is actually it, so... Hit it. Oh, hello. Oops. I thought I killed that thing. Oh wow, no, they're just taking more shots than I thought they should be. I mean, that is true. I did kind of technically sort of know that there were higher level. I can't get back over there. That's a little annoying. Higher level werewolves. Just as there are supposedly higher level of the mummy vampires, ones that aren't bandaged, fresh zombies. Hello. Goodbye. And I got health there. See how dangerous that actually is? Because I ran into something so it could close the distance and hit me. Like, that's a real threat. That isn't. Neither is that. How did it survive that, though? So all I gotta do is just pay a little bit of attention and the knights don't matter. Even paying attention, the werewolves can be a threat. Okay, this guy's just cheating. Thank you for finally dying. I hit him twice, you saw. I mean, it is weird because they do have such a long range that really managing that is just tricky. Okay, but I don't see any additional. So, one game that it's been a while since I've played it, that I do think about some when playing this is Serious Sam.
I'm gonna die.
And while it has been many years, I still feel like it had better escalation and also progression, because like you were going to new areas that were different. This has been greater consistency with this, and also when they do the mashed up when they do the mashed up biomes, it's, I don't know, it means it's still kind of something I already know. Oh great. Okay. Actually. See, these guys. In theory, they might be tougher. You know, I do also feel that the repeater might have worse aim. I'm not certain on that, but it might be true. Okay. Man, I really do like this. The whole, I've already beaten, I've already beaten the review. I haven't beaten the game. But just I can just continue to criticize the game based on what I already wrote as criticism. And also explain, this is still kind of fun. It's just, whoop, that's not good for me. What the heck? Okay, the camera definitely is an enemy in this game. Because that, that looked like, I somehow, when here, shot that, it's almost as though it's following where the camera is instead of where the gun is. Even that doesn't make sense, because it was, I don't know, it's just, there are some weird issues. I'm not going to worry about that. I recovered fine, got through it fine, so I'm fine. How are you? You know what's kind of funny? I prefer Star Trek to Star Wars. I appreciate the original trilogy, and I watched through those in the past 2 weeks or so, and it was just interesting that it's like, yeah, these can still be fun. And there was also an element of something else. I once
Save me!
saw somebody explain the prequel trilogy. Boy, is this ever out there. I don't know, I'm just kind of talking to fill time, I guess. But that if you contextualize the prequel trilogy as something meant more so for kids, to be more appropriate for them, then various things like Jar Jar Binks makes more sense. And it's like it's not as much a what did you do to the beloved franchise kind of thing. But what's interesting is you watch the original trilogy, and I mean, it's like what there wasn't appropriate for kids. I mean, yeah, some concepts an adult might need to explain things to them, but it's not as though it were a inappropriate movie for any of them were inappropriate movies for a younger audience. So actually, I do kind of want to look around a little bit because of that. That's actually like legitimately what I cared the most about, was finding some health. Some handgun ammo would have been nice, but this is fine. Eventually, yes.
There's fucking Frankenstein.
Okay, it didn't seem to
Use a stake.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's vulnerable.
Okay. Finally got a frickin' boss fight. It wasn't that hard, but at least it was a boss fight. That technically was still a boss fight. I'm still happy. Okay? Because it had different mechanics. It was somehow novel. It wasn't that difficult. In part because it's just how I play games. Oop. Here we go.
Aren't doing anything. Can't hurt him.
Yeah, no, I was... I could not escape. Escape possible is all I really got here. Okay. No. I think I just didn't need to, like, go through here. No, that's not it. Holy crap, he's going to hit me. Okay, here we go. So it is a you can't actually beat him yet.
My bullets aren't doing anything.
Yeah. How's this surprising?
Hate. All I feel is hate.
For what? For that? For Dracula? Which would not be unreasonable, to be fair. Let's be real here. Okay. I'm not actually stopping. I'm not. I want to show you something. Right? We finally got to a boss fight at chapter 28. Okay? And what should be a definite like 4 hours, 10, 20 minutes in, because I know some of this I've been paused and just talking. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, this is really deep in, I should actually make the note too.
Hate.
Encountered a boss.
All I feel.
Wasn't that hard,
hate.
especially as I keep Molotovs / grenades in every so that was me being alt-tabbed and typing. And the game taking it.
Oh, this is not a good time, you puppeteering shit.
Okay. Ah, damn it. Okay, I think... Son of a... Okay, so that's... like, just there. Okay. Because I hadn't killed them when I killed the guy, and killing the guy doesn't destroy them. And let's take care of this. There. There.
Nice ammo.
Okay. There. But, I mean, it's... That took way too long. And see? Nothing. I could walk right by that guy. How close actually can I get? Holy crap. You walk down the center of the frickin' hallway, and he doesn't get you. He doesn't activate. This is what I mean. They're not real threats.
Alright.
Ah, son of
I
a...
figured out how to make more of them.
I don't use the Uzi, so it's sort of a... Why not do that just so I am actually using it? Man, using it though is somehow like hitting the performance. I don't know why. And these things were never a threat, so let's just... The one in the hallway I'll leave. It's just a testament to their uselessness, but then this guy doesn't even acknowledge.
They really stored you with the pottery, huh?
You're a hero.
I mean, it's also just... Well, yeah, what do I... Hey, this guy actually did awaken. There, he's dead. But I'm see, that's my reaction to this, is, hey, he moved! That's not what you want this to be.
I need.
Okay. Okay. It's like they are that small a threat. That's when they become a threat that's like, oh, hey!
I'm full up.
Oh, hello. There.
He's blocking my shot, Skin.
Nice and easy. The heck? Okay, I don't really know what's up with that. That would explain why there were so many stakes right here, though. Don't we all? Well, technically I am home, but...
I'll go.
Okay, hang on. Let's... There. I'm not seeing any others. There.
Oh, yeah. Rubble walls again.
I just have a funny thought cross my mind. What if James can't kill the thing? That what needs to happen is you actually get to Dracula, and she has to decide to basically stop the ritual and save you. In a way, that would make actually a lot of sense. Because we haven't getting to know her, she does seem, she in the memories does seem to actually care about him. So would be consistent with the character that's like, you know, a better deal essentially being made to save him than to continue to achieve this power that maybe she doesn't actually care that much about. I want to go back to explore a little bit more, but I will also admit I am not entirely sure where the hell I am. That's right, this is the thing that I haven't gone down yet. Okay. I had not gone down yet. But it is also a place I didn't need to go. Hello. Still not a threat. There we go. There.
I chased the Puppeteer for half of Europe. He was spreading chaos from town to village because he had a creature inside him that couldn't do otherwise. I watched him die. But apparently he's a goblin, strong enough to pierce the void itself now. Fuck me.
Also, one point of Frankenstein is just a mini boss town.
1991.
Seriously?
Oh, negative.
Your father's last words.
I'm done.
When did you know that you loved enchanted drink?
Ferris wheel.
Why are you here?
Ferris wheel. We were on a Ferris wheel. It had been a really good day. And as we rose to the top, she put her head on my shoulder and closed her eyes and whispered to herself, I forgot living could be a good thing. And that was it. This one good day burned into my head, and I gave her my soul. And I remembered it. remembered it when she started lying to me and controlling me. I didn't have any money when we traveled. Everything was hers. I existed by her graces. And that was good because she loved me. And I was special and I remembered. My good day. I remembered when she started reveling in me being a little bit afraid of her. All of the time. I remembered when she put me on that fucking couch and told me to stay, and I did. I pissed myself, and I waited for 4 days, scared of what would happen if I got up and she found out. Proud of myself for showing that I could stay. 4 days of waiting and blinking and feeling the inside of my mouth dry and crack like poured cement. Until she came back, covered in blood. I didn't believe her when she told me she'd stopped feeding. I'd seen bloodstains washing clothes. But there she was, standing in the doorway, finally telling me the truth about what she wanted to be. Her first words to me and the last words I've heard her say for 2 years were, "Good boy." And the same sick part of me that felt like it was tearing in half when I left her was glad. Glad I stayed. Like the good boy I am. And that she saw me. I drove away as fast as I could, weeping in a car that didn't belong to me. Still remembering that one good fucking day. And as much as I want to hate her for what she did to me, without laying a finger on me, and what I did to myself, I can't. I can't. Because it was a really good fucking day. And her words were warm and her head was cold, and I don't know if I'm ever going to make someone feel like they are good. Like that. Ever again.
Good. You're ready to die. It's been nice knowing you, Savage.
I can't say I share your opinion.
Shit. So, wow. Huh. That does recontextualize some of what I was saying about the relationship. Ooh, boy. Because I do put in there that I did put in the review that I liked what we were being told about the relationship up to this point. Because this is, I mean, he's showing two things. One is that I do think that he did love her, but that was obviously a very unhealthy relationship. Yeah. And wow. But I am curious about one thing with it. Because the way he described the Ferris wheel sounded like she also was good. Like, that was a truly good moment for both of them and a healthy relationship kind of moment for both of them. But then it turned. So it could prove to what I was saying, where she has to become involved in something that, it's like she finds her redemption as well, not just him. But wow, that was a very, very bad relationship. And I kind of, on the one hand, I do, as I was saying, I do think that he genuinely loved her, but on the other hand, you need to get out of bad relationships like that. I mean, that level of stay because you're a good boy, it's like, no, that's not healthy. You can be desperately in love with that person. That relationship needs to change. Which might mean you get help and things improve, or you just get out of there and you have a broken heart for a while. I have no experience with any of this, I should admit, but it's like, that's not healthy. That's a... it needs to change, either for the better or it needs to change by ending.
He's a cat and I'm the mouse. That's the game. I have to play along.
That. Where did he go? Ah.
Nice ammo. Could have been any other organ in there. So I guess I'm lucky.
Oh.
Sorry for breaking so many of these.
Okay, I get the idea. Essentially, they're big canoptic jars. Canoptic? Is that the right word for it? That should make him vulnerable. The only problem I have right now is how do I... How do I get to the next one?
Nice ammo.
Like, what gets me access to it? Since he's just following me around. Okay. He gets trapped in the elevator.
Did they need a stronger knight? Found ammo. Every art seems to align with an aspect of the soul.
I'm sorry, but those things will prove useful. Oh, hello. There's something.
Big fucking heart. Couldn't hold more if I tried.
Hey?
Okay, maybe the mouse wins. Maybe I can turn this around.
Doubt it.
Let's take him on another ride.
That seems a different voice.
No, I can't do this again, no. Stop.
No. No! Jede!
Jed, that's it.
Jede Frey. The son of Khufu, the Great Builder. Right? I put the pieces together. Zimforth wanted out early and he needed meat. Meat with a connection to Dakalai. A tether. What stronger tether than the man who made her who she is? Zimforth felt you in the ether, hitched a ride when you came back, poured you into a suit. That's why I haven't been able to hurt you. Because you've got a patron.
She never said your name.
We spent every moment together for 3 years. She told me everything, but the one thing that Janet didn't say is your name. Didn't breathe it. So you managed to complete a pyramid in your own lifetime. Conquered mortality, faked your own death to reign over the underworld, birthed the Lord of the Vampires, and it's all gone. Forgotten. The only reason I know who you are is because I was looking into the pharaohs of Egypt once, researching mummies, vampires, where that all started. And there was a big gap where your name is. Because of all the mysteries of Egypt, you were the one that no one has cared to solve. Even to the person who loved you most, you're dead.
Is it really right to be pissing him off? I mean...
Does that hurt? Killing me doesn't make you less of a puppet.
And yet
What
you
is a
walk
king
back.
who reigns over nothing? It's the end of the world, man. You don't have a name, you don't have authority. You don't have her.
And not having a name is a
You
big
can
deal.
get right now, after a very, very long time, is a fight that matters.
Wait, you can't do this. No.
Now that makes things interesting.
Okay.
It's like the Burnman. Wear him down, then use a stake.
But yeah, in ancient Egyptian mythology, if the way they would basically make sure you died completely was to remove your name. I'm trying to remember. Ow. I didn't realize that with all that shaking that I was actually named. There was a pharaoh that actually happened to. I can't quite remember his name, which is a little ironic. The father of Tutankhamun, though. He was very different. He believed in just Aten specifically, which was a one of the god of the actual sun disk. So not like Ra even, god of the sun, but just the disk. Okay.
Down.
Okay, where is he? What am I supposed to do?
Oh. Can't hold more.
I got a funny idea what may have happened. I really hope not, but it is possible. He may have jumped outside the arena. I think I have to do that.
Just like the burn men. Wear him down, then use a stake.
Yeah, you do need to have it be a dodge to a side with him up, which I've not been doing.
Smelling salt. Music.
Turn down, back up.
Oh, how? That was annoying. Okay. I'm so glad I'm finally getting a boss fight.
Again, motherfucker.
What just happened?
Don't need more. Violent death.
I can save you from that poison. I can save you.
Pathetic. Good fucking riddance.
Alright. Supposed to leave that in. Technically, vampires are immortal. That's the purpose of the stake is so they can't get back up. Although, even in Dracula, that's not actually how that works.
My God. James?
Hey.
Is she actually here?
What is this?
This is Jedi Fry. The Force Beyond brought him back, poured him into a suit.
I didn't think the door had opened yet.
I don't think it has. But, you know, these ancient forces of hatred and destruction. Always getting antsy.
I have to go back. I felt a ripple, so...
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'll be here. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of setting up, though, that maybe... You know, this is then very confusing. Because she was clearly abusive of him in what... That you know what, I am actually going to stop here. I think this is a good spot. I don't want to keep going. I'm sorry. It's getting late for one thing, but it is also just... my brain just turned off. It is getting late. And part of what I do say at the end, well, in the review, is that it's focused sessions, I think, hurt the game some, at least for what I had been doing. Thank you, we had escalation, we had boss fights! Thank you! Finally! Too late, but finally. Anyway, it just... One thing I was talking about is to help address it becoming dull is don't do such long play sessions. Long focus play sessions. I can stop that though. The stopwatch. I set a stopwatch going so I know how long the videos are since I can't always see what OBS says. Anyway, that is confusing. So we went from that was really a bad relationship he was in to her appearing and being nice. And I do understand that in an abusive relationship, it is very possible for the other person to actually be nice at times. But this didn't read to me quite like she's being nice at the moment. Like if you cut out, like let him have the good day, but then things kind of soured because the whole Lord of the Vampires, trying to get her power. Like, if it was just that, trying to get her power back started becoming an obsession of hers at that point. And then the rest of it is they seem to be having a good relationship. It's taking a weird turn. He lost her because of her obsession with the power. And he's realizing she's endangering the world, so he's going after her to save the world and all that. That would have worked. It's suddenly being abusive. And now we have her being like, hi, what's going on? I mean, it's just, there is a certain dissonance here, and I'm not sure if we're going to get a payoff, we're going to get this explained, or if maybe the abusive stuff was wedged in. Potentially playing more, which I won't do until tomorrow, in about 24 hours, until, it's like, I won't know until then, but it is just... I don't, and it's also a lot of the memories were sweet, were nice, were happy. No idea what the relationship is, the timeline is for those memories and that day, because the way he described it was like after that day is when things turned. But is it? How many of the memory? I don't know. I don't know. There might be a little bit of unreliable narrator here, or it could just be that, what I just said, maybe the directly abusive to him was wedged in. I'm not sure. I just don't know yet. Playing more will help reveal that. Hang on. I just remembered one thing, because I can look this up. Okay, that's right. He did do that, didn't he? Akhenaten. That's the guy who was King Tut's father, and who, after his death, at least as I recall, it was Egypt tried to wipe his existence out, including removing names. It was only in like certain temples that were like buried or something like that. It was only in specific spots that they managed to find them and reconstruct that he existed. Yeah, he was kind of weird, and yeah, he changed his name to Akhenaten because Aten was the god that he basically took to be the one god. And the funny thing is that technically in the mythology, my understanding is that was a lesser god, so it was a very weird thing that he did. Interesting character though. But yeah, his son was who we all know as King Tut, or Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Anyway, that's how I how to look him up, is just King Tut's father. And if I also want to say it was Nefertiti was his wife. Before the 5th year of his reign, he was known as Amenhotep IV. I just want to. I'm just trying to check. Yeah, Nefertiti was his wife. Okay. Nefertiti might be better known than he is in some ways. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to make some notes on this. You know, that actually is kind of funny when I think about it now. The boss escalation there was bad. Well, sorry, the pacing. The boss pacing there was bad. Because we got Frankenstein that introduced the mechanics for defeating Jeddah. But it was like, we got Frankenstein. Introduced Jeddah. Next level. We kill Frankenstein again. Jeddah, still a threat. Level after that is kind of running around the cat and mouse thing, and then boom, we're fighting him. It's like, it's not a... You could have introduced Frankenstein like several levels ago, have him continue to occasionally appear to just remind people, hey, this is how this works, and then gone to Jeddah. Instead, it's like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, it's... So it went from this slow pacing, it took so freaking long to get to a boss fight, to we have a setup mini-boss kind of guy, then almost directly into the boss. And it just... Yeah, that oh, man. I don't feel it elevates to the point I need to revise, but I'm still going to make these notes. I mean, this video is going to be part of, technically, the review itself. It's just, I'm not going to edit the review. So yeah, I've got Frankenstein as a boss. Had to whittle down his health. Molotov, very effective here. By the way, I do prefer Dracula to Frankenstein, the books. Just throwing that out there, completely, well, mostly random. But it's like, I've read them both. I find Dracula much more actually, like, terrifying than Frankenstein. They're both interesting, but my preference is Dracula. And then stake him to actually advance to his next health bar. Introduced to Frank. Kill him in that level. Meet... Hang on. Khufu's son. I want to make sure I get his name spelled right, even though this is just for my notes. Okay, yes. I did spell it correctly. Who is the next boss? Next level, face Frank again. Yeah, I'm just calling him Frank. As a in-level mini-boss, essentially. Level after that, Jeddah is more present, not yet the fight. Next level, Jeddah fight using the exact same mechanics as Frank, only more health to deal with. We went from slow pacing, slow gameplay pacing, that I guess I could say I identified most strongly as the absence of a boss fight for so long. To finally getting one that is practically 1, 2, 3 to the next fight with the same mechanic and with a more important enemy as far as the story is concerned. I Got more on the... So that note is finished. Got more on the relationship between James and Draculae. Specifically, the day he knew he loved her. And presumably, yes, I'm going to say this, and presumably when she knew she loved him. I mean, what she whispered. I forgot how good it is to live kind of thing. It's like, so she'd already been Draculae for a while, is my takeaway from that. She'd already been dead, technically undead. From him is like experiencing life again, okay? And it's like, to her basically admit that, I do think is like, yes, she is acknowledging that she loves him. That is my interpretation of it. Could be wrong, but that's my interpretation of it. Deal with it. That's how I would do it. Then continues after, the story after that day. And it turns out it is a very abusive relationship with him. Yeah, absolutely. Sacrificing, even that's not really right. Absolutely abandoning his dignity. I mean, yeah, she told him wait on the couch. He stayed there and peed on himself. He lost his dignity. Absolutely abandoning his dignity. Yeah, on the chance it would make her happy. And she knew this. She was manipulating him. She was also lying to him as she was feeding again, but saying she wasn't. While this revelation of the relationship being so abusive is very interesting, it feels incongruous. Yeah. No, I misspelled that. That's fine. I'll get it right later. I just need to know what I wrote. It can be spelled wrong temporarily, at least. With the depiction shown of the relationship prior to this moment in the game, because I don't know when things occurred. I already mentioned that. And even her behavior after, when she appears in the elevator after your defeat of Jede, who had turned her into the Lord of Vampires. Let me check on incongruous. Okay. I was close. I wasn't sure, but it was, I just needed the U after the R. Just needed to add that. Anyway, but yeah, it just... I'm just going to add in the whole... it could have been she was, even though in love with him, was being tempted by and seeking the recovery of her powers, leading her to the ritual and away from him and the relationship. This would be more consistent with my impression of the story, well, of the relationship earlier, and this, well, and her appearance after. Now, as I said, I don't have any experience with an abusive relationship. I absolutely have to admit that. I do read a fair amount. I watch various movies and television, mainly classic television movies though. So it's like I'm the concept isn't alien to me, but at the same time, it's dramatized. So, and I just want to say the idea to me of presenting an abusive relationship in a video game is, if done appropriately, I can actually see as being a good thing. As a, like, it can be a way for some people to start recognizing that's what it is. And that can be what some people need to realize, oh, I need to get out of my situation. But if it's done appropriately, if it's done well, if it's handled with respect for the characters, for the story and all that. I don't know if that's what this is. I don't, because it really just felt like, boom, abusive relationship, right back out of it. What I don't fully understand this. But one thing that did just occur to me is you might be able to liken. So an aspect of him is he's a drug addict. He was sober for, what was it, 6 months, 12 days, something like that. But gave that up because he's got to stop her. And he needed the drug cocktail to do all this, right? Her not feeding and lying about that, it could be likened to she was an addict as well, to the blood, to feeding. And now she's basically trying to go for an even greater high of getting her actual powers back via the ritual. So there is a certain mirroring there. That could be intent, that very much could be what's going on here. And is actually, it can be, not, I mean, it depends. It can also be bad. Yeah, that can be good storytelling. It can also be bad storytelling. It depends on how it'll go. But you could do that. However, the problem there is the abuse of him doesn't add anything to that. It would be her lying about the feeding, which would still be somewhat abusive. Like, her, if she is constantly lying to him, he could also be lying to her. And I guess maybe not abusive, but it would be an unhealthy relationship, the dishonesty building between them. If he was a drug addict and had given that up in part because of her, but then she falls back into her addiction and is trying to hide that from him, or even if they were both essentially addicts together, and the 6 months was him stopping after they broke up, and then we have this. I don't know. The timeline I'm very unsure about. But it did seem like from what it was showing there, he took the car, drove away, and is now driving. That's the same car driving back. So it's like, 24 hours after that turnaround, after him taking that car. But it's still, you could have that aspect of addiction there, that being the vampire, it's analogous to, the blood drinking is analogous to a drug addiction like what he has. So that could be going on here as well. It is possible I'm reading in interpretations, I'm reading in themes that aren't there, but it's like, this is possible. We'll find out. I know I should be stopping soon, but it's just, I don't know how the genuine emotional, mental, no apparent physical abuse. Well, nah, forcing the guy to pee himself kind of would be physical abuse. Certainly emotional though. I don't know what that serves. I really do not know why that's there. And I just, in my stories for various things that might be sensitive topics, my feeling is nothing is off limits, but it all has to be appropriate. It all has to have contextual appropriateness to it. I'm not sure where that fits in. It might be contextualized later. Some of the stuff in the story does seem like they introduce it and then it's explained later. That's fine. It's an odd way to do storytelling, but it does work. I shouldn't say it's that odd. I actually do use some of that, but it's what I do is well, trying to do, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of it, it's a little bit more subtle, where it's like putting down breadcrumbs, and it's like you don't realize that, oh, those were significant until a few chapters later. This is, I just don't know. Yeah, so it's got potential. I'm not going to change anything yet, but it is, if we don't address that specific abuse stuff later, I will be very disappointed, because, and that might lead me to edit the review. It'll still be a 2. The game is still enjoyable, so that won't change. It's not, I don't think it can go to 3, but it just, that does bother me. It's like, if the abuse stuff isn't paid off, then I am gonna feel that it's just been wedged in, and I can't. It's like, for me, with my standard of storytelling, how is this contextually appropriate? What is this giving to the story? How does it help develop either of their characters? Him being willing to be so abused to a degree, him entering, and the way he told it did make it sound like he was choosing this. I mean, let's be somewhat realistic here. It did seem like he entered into it willingly, and stayed in it to a degree as well, willingly and knowingly. I mean, that's some abusive relationships, you don't have that luxury of knowing it and choosing to go into it. That definitely felt to me like he knew. So doesn't make it better. I'm just saying it did seem like that is an element there. But it tells you that she is really mean, which is part of the reason why I'm saying it's incongruous. Well, she's not mean at any other time. No other memory of her is she mean. Is she that cruel to him? But boom, right there. It's like, and it all at once. It's like, what? And it doesn't even like recontextualize things before. Everything before were happy memories. Now, as I said, could be those were times she was nice, but that's where the payoff that I'm talking about would be, is if we struck in more of the memories where she isn't nice. If that doesn't happen, then yes, I am going to have a problem with this. It will be disappointing. It will not prompt me to edit the review for that, though. At least not too specifically, because it would be risking spoiler. It would probably just be something like, there's a weird... I would just basically say that, yeah, there's a weird twist to the relationship that felt wedged in and unnecessary. So... And I would probably just put it that way so I don't spoil it. But yeah, it's also so... Well, no. To be fair, that kind of revelation, if it gets paid off, is fine to be later in the game. Like, past the midway point. Not too far past, but past the midway point. The boss fight stuff, that should have been earlier. As I said, we should have gotten Frankie, like, 10 levels prior, and then have him show up every now and then. Hell, he could have been introduced the very first time we were in the castle biome. Dead serious. He could have been introduced then. Or maybe not then, maybe the second time. So it's like the first time was you're in the castle biome, you're meeting that, being introduced to that. Maybe you're suggesting Frank is there, and then like a level or two of that later. So the second or third castle level, now he's there, you have to deal with him. Now every single time you're in a castle level, he can be there. As the mini-boss, because he was there as a mini-boss. He could have been there like that, hunting you down. You can take him out easily enough. He really wasn't that tough. And that way, it's just... You could get him so much earlier. You're setting up the Jetter fight earlier, because it's the same mechanic. And it's not just boom, boom, boom. It's boom, play, boom, and then boom with Jetter. That would have been so much better pacing. But that's not what we got. So, yeah, pacing is still a problem. It's finally getting interesting, but it is a problem. Alright, I'm just going to add in some more notes, but I will stop the recording. The notes just being that if there isn't a payoff with the abuse stuff, I will have to edit in that there was a twist that felt wedged in and unnecessary. That because it feels inconsistent with what else we were being told about the relationship. If it gets paid off, then actually I won't change it too much. But I'll let what I wrote stand, because up until the point I had played, it was true. And a sudden twist I mean, it's like, hey, I hadn't finished the game. What do you expect? Of course things could change, but yeah, it is like I was saying at the start of this, that kind of thing isn't going to help the game. That isn't going to make it suddenly a better game. It's not going to make me get to a 3. No, because it's the pacing is still the key problem, and the pacing is not solved here. The story might improve, but it's also we definitely more than 4 hours through the game, more like 5 hours through the game. It's supposed to be 7 to 8 hours. I'm like 2/3 of the way through the game, and now we're getting some of the story stuff. That could have been earlier. That's still kind of a problem. It's not a huge problem, but it's, yeah. All right. I'll make those notes and stop. See you next time.